So now we're going to move on to chapter 3 on basic properties of linear inequalities. So for inequalities, there are a few properties that you need to take note of. The first property is quite intuitive. So if a number A is less than B and this B is less than C, then of course C is the greatest and A will naturally be smaller than C. This part where some students will struggle a little bit with, because students tend to be confused by all these variables. So for example, if A is less than B and C is more than 0, meaning C is positive, then if I multiply C to this A and B, B will still be bigger than A. For example, if A is say 2 less than 3, and then multiply by a positive number to it. So if I multiply 5, then I still get 10 less than 15. So the sign remains the same. But if I multiply a negative number, then the sign will change. Why? Let's see. So for 2 less than 3, if I multiply -1 to both numbers, it will become -2 and -3 on this side. So the bigger the number is, when it becomes negative, the smaller the value. So you'll see a change in sign. So this is one thing that you must remember. The inequality sign will reverse when I multiply a negative number to it. For addition, it shouldn't change a thing, right? The sign shouldn't change when it comes to addition. So if A is a smaller number, then I add this number to both A and B. A plus C is still a smaller number compared to B plus C. So let's look at this. If P is less than Q, then compare the values of the following pair of numbers. So let's see for part A. Not very clear. So for part A, if P is less than Q, if I plus or minus the same number on both sides, the sign shouldn't change. Right? So Q is still big. Q minus 1 is still going to be bigger than P minus 1. So for part B, negative. So if P is less than Q, and now I multiply a number that is negative. So -4P, -4Q, by the property, the sign should now change. Okay, as long as you multiply a negative number, so a multiplication or division of a negative number on both sides is going to cause a change in your sign. P less than Q, divide by 5. If I divide by 5 on both sides, okay, 1/5 means divide by 5, and 1/5, this is more than 0, it's positive. So even if I divide by 5, my sign shouldn't change. So you must remember here, the sign will only change or will reverse if it is a multiplication or division of a negative number on both sides. That's the only time your sign should change. Or the other time your sign will reverse if you write a Q on the other side of the inequality. Why do I mention this? Because some students are so used to writing, equation. For example, if I write x equals to 3, 3 equals to x, yes, you can, change this on both sides of the equation. But when I move on to the later chapter, and if you say x is less than 3, it's going to be very different if you say 3 is less than x. Right? So please take note of the sign, whether when you reverse the sign or when you move things around the sign.